there are 5 Vol draft picks. You just mentioned 2. Well, I'm going with a whole different 2. So we're hitting 4 of the 5 right off the bat here. That's awesome. I'm sure we all are, well aware by now where all the Volunteers are going to be heading as far as where they've been drafted. Obviously, Darnell Wright, first round, top 10 draft pick. That's awesome. Fantastic to the Bears. And then 4 Vols in the 3rd round. So I'm going to ask a question that I haven't seen asked much yet. And because we've all been talking about where they're going. All right, well, let's ask a different question. Which of those 5 guys do you think is in the best situation for immediate success? And now I know success can be defined many different ways in this scenario. It could be which one's going to see the field first, which one's going to have immediate playing time. It could be which one's going to put up the biggest numbers first. So how are you answering this question, Rustin?
If we're talking immediate success as far as immediate playing time and the opportunity to contribute right away, I think it's probably Byron Young with the Rams because they struggled last year with pass rush. They're pretty good in the interior defensive line, but last year they were horrible on the pass rush, and so I think they're going to turn him into a specialist. You'll see him in there every 3rd down situation, and his full job is going to be pin your ears back and go get the quarterback. If immediate success means the place that is the best fit long term, I don't think Hendon could have asked for a better situation.
I think that's a great point, because the Goff contract runs out in 2 years, and there is no guaranteed money after that.
Well, not only that, I've been watching a lot of Detroit media. It's pretty clear, like everybody in Detroit knows Jared Goff's gone after 2 years. They're not going to pay him again.
I mean, that could be an ideal. You're right, an ideal scenario for Hendon Hooker. So this is interesting.
His current competition to back up Jared Goff is Nate Sudfeld. So I don't think Hendon's too worried about that one. So Hendon's going to walk in. Point. Yeah, Hendon's going to walk in and be the number 2 guy right away. They'll take it easy in the preseason to make sure he's healthy. They'll take it easy the first few weeks to make sure he's healthy. But then he gets to be the number 2 guy for essentially a year and a half and learn the system and, connect with the offensive coordinator. And then, it's also a numbers game. People forget that. Like, money and salary cap is a big part of this. And Jared Goff is going to expect a big payday in 2 years. And apparently everyone around Detroit is saying the Lions aren't going to be willing to give it to him. So Hendon can literally spend a year and a half as the number 2 guy, learn everything, gel with everybody, and then in year 3 walk right into the starting job because that's what they've drafted him for.
How in the world could anybody not root for Hendon Hooker? And I'm super excited for him. I wish him nothing but the best. And man, it's going to be hard to not pull for the Lions now. Like on Thanksgiving when they're playing, all of Tennessee will be watching the Lions now. So this is interesting. So there are 5 Vol draft picks. You just mentioned 2. Well, I'm going with a whole different 2. So we're hitting 4 of the 5 right off the bat here. That's awesome. So as we mentioned, you can really define success in different ways here. And so I'm going to do the same thing Rustin did. If we're saying immediate success is they see immediate playing time, I'm going to say the best scenario for that is Darnell Wright, because last year, poor Justin Fields spent more time on his back than he did standing upright. And I think if Darnell can come in and just give him an extra second and a half, if he can just give him an extra 1 second, he's going to be like, put that guy over there. I mean, as far as like the opportunity to step in and see the field, Darnell Wright, I think is that guy. But here's the thing. If we're defining immediate success as the ability to put up big numbers right away, well, then that is not Darnell Wright because offensive linemen have no numbers. That No one's going to be turning on Sports Center at night to watch a right tackle block a guy really good. You know what I'm saying? They're turning it on to see 50-yard bombs and stuff like that. So since we're talking about 50-yard bombs and stuff like that, my pick for the person who I think will have the most immediate success as far as like getting seen in the media is this guy right here, Jalin Hyatt. Last night, Jim Weber tweeted out, how badly did the Giants need Jalin Hyatt? Okay, well, Hyatt had more touchdowns against Alabama last season, 5, than any New York Giants wide receiver had for the entire season. The most receiving touchdowns any receiver for the Giants had last year was 4. Jalin had 5 in one game against Alabama, who doesn't stink. And so, when you consider the fact that Jalin had 15 touchdowns for the whole year, he had more than triple the total number of the next closest guy for the Giants. Now, I understand, obviously, it's totally different, competition. I get that. But obviously, this is a situation where he can step right in and they can have an immediate deep threat with Jalin Hyatt. And so I would not be shocked if you see the exact same thing we saw this year where they were like, hey, Jalin, go run fast. And he just takes off and they throw it deep to him. I think you could be seeing Jalin Hyatt highlights on Sports Center this fall.